right, so it's starting to do something. You know, it definitely doesn't sound like a horror movie yet, but we're getting there. So some other things that you can do with the samples while I'm here, you can reverse a sample. Reversing a sample is just done by clicking this little rev button right here, and that will just play that backwards. Let's see what that sample sounds like backwards. And I kind of like that. It sounds a little bit more ominous backwards, so I'm going to keep it like that. And I wonder if we transpose it down just a little bit more. Yeah, I like it even better there. I'm going to turn it back up, actually, make it louder. Cool. That's starting to sound more scary. Okay, so you can see how you can kind of manipulate these sounds to get more closer to what you're looking for on a given track. Let's just place a couple more sounds while I'm here, just so you can kind of see that process. So I usually like to start with kind of these bigger things that kind of cover massive areas, because it kind of helps block out certain things, and it prevents me from getting stuck on really small details early on. I usually like to save the small details for later, just like painting. You don't start out by spending 10 hours on the eyelashes before you even have the basic face shape drawn out, right? So I like to try and find these kind of massive areas where I can just get a general vibe going, and then I'll go in and start placing some individual sounds. So let's go back here and look at some of these sounds I have. I've got this sound design element right here, which I think will be really cool for some scene changes, and I've got this one too, which is really similar. And I think I want to use this one right where the vibe changes. So like right about when that van started, actually maybe right here where he's looking out the window and he sees all those people in the hazmat suits. That could be a good spot for this sound effect. So right there. And then the other place where I wanted the other sound effect, this one, that one's got a little bit more reverb on it. Right at the end of the trailer, where, let me just drop this and I'll move this out of the way so I can place it. Where the title screen comes in, like so, it's kind of, there's this shot where they're kind of going through this attic, and then the title shot kind of appears out of the blackness, right? So right there, right about where the title shot appears, this is going to be a fine-tuned placement, right there. That's where I want that one. Let's see what that does. Oops. Remember to turn off this screen. Gotta click on those. There we go. So we'll watch that. Okay, a little bit early. I'm gonna just zoom in here and get that a little bit more fine-tuned placed. Where are you, Arbors? Let's try that one more time. Cool, that's looking good. And definitely I want to probably do a fade out on those two sounds also, so I'll go ahead and just pull those in as it's going like that. Cool. So we've got some ominous effects going on. And the last thing, there's that one too that I was thinking about placing, but I'll save that one. But this female breathing I thought would be cool to use at that final scene too, where it's kind of zooming in on the attic, just to, breaths can always be kind of scary. So I'm going to go ahead and stop that sound. We'll bring in this female breath, and I want to place it right about there. And for this, I want to change this sample in a new way that we haven't done yet. I actually want to slow it down. So how to do that? To slow a sample down so that it takes up more time, you will need to turn on the warp function, but the loop function needs to be turned off. Okay. And there's some easy ways to change the speed of something. If you just want to, if you divide it by 2, then it will be twice as fast. That means it's going to speed it up, right? And if you times it by 2, then it's going to be twice as long, so it's going to slow it down. So that's the easy way to just, if you just want to divide it by 2 or times it by 2, there's specific buttons for that. If you want to change it differently, this is kind of an interesting thing, but it tries to analyze any sound file and kind of predict what the tempo was. And it's thinking that it really doesn't know, because this isn't like a music file, so it's just guessing it's 120, which is what our session is set to right now anyway. And again, that doesn't really make sense in this case, as it's not a beat, it's just someone breathing, right? So at any rate, you can change this. Usually the best setting for stretching out a sound is either going to be repitch or complex pro. Repitch, if it's on repitch and you stretch it out, the pitch is also going to get lower. And if you speed it up, the pitch will get higher. And if you're on complex pro, it'll try and keep the pitch be the same, but sometimes it gets kind of weird and metallic-y sounding. So you might want to try those 2 different settings when you're stretching things out. I'm going to just try this repitch first. And then if you've got the sample selected, you can just go to this seg BPM thing and click on it and either drag up or drag down, and you'll see on the screen it's kind of chopping off my sample because I just need to stretch out the bounds of it also so that it can fit with that. So I've just slowed down that sample. Let's see what that sounds like. Yeah, that's kind of cool. And of course my streamed sound that we just placed was not playing because I've got this grayed out right here. So let's try that one more time with that activated. Ooh, yeah, that's cool. I like how that blends, that breath sound blends with that little impact there too. It kind of makes it more ominous sounding. So anyway, hopefully that gives you some ideas about how to start placing your sound effects. Like I say, I think it's a really good idea to start with some bigger things that kind of cover up a lot of zone and give you a general vibe, and then go in to start placing some individual sound effects like this, just to kind of accentuate some of those changes and sync up with some of those key moments in the scene. And I'll be back on the next video to give you even more ideas with kind of placing that and some other cool editing tricks you can do with your sounds. All right, that's it.